Welcome to the Life of Dad Show. Visit us at lifeofdad.com. Here are your hosts, Tom Riles and Art Eddy.
So if you agree, have a drink with me, raise your glasses for a toast to a little bit of chicken pie.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to the Life of Dad show. It is our Father's Day spectacular. Father's Day is this Sunday. I'm here with my co-host Art Eddy. Art, what's up?
Yo, man, happy Father's Day to you, sir. Coming up, you're a great dad, and it's always fun to talk and have a podcast spectacular show around the day that celebrates fathers. You know.
I agree, and you're getting a few different treats this Father's Day. First off, coming up a little bit later. My man, you got to talk with one of your idols, Jerry Rice, Super Bowl champion, NFL Hall of Famer. How was that?
Oh, man, it was fantastic. I can't wait for everybody to hear the interview. Jerry Rice is so on point. We were scheduled to do an interview 2 weeks ago, and he was supposed to call me at noon my time. And his rep's like, just be alert, because sometimes he'll call you earlier than expected. I was like, all right. Had my studio line ready to rock and roll at 9, 3 hours just because I was giddy. He calls me at 10:30.
Art, that's awesome. I'm so excited to hear it, and that's amazing that not only is that guy on time, but Jerry Rice is early for interviews, which is amazing. And as we said before, so this Sunday is Father's Day, and Art, I wanted to share with you something special that your kids did for you.
Oh, okay. What's that, man?
Well, when they were born, you were actually born as a dad.
Ah, I see what you did there. Nice.
Yeah. I think you know what I'm saying. And it didn't just happen to you, Art. It happens to all dads. Like when my daughter, Barbara, was born, I became a dad. I was born as a dad. So that was my first time as a dad. And this year, for Father's Day, Life of Dad is teaming up with Pampers. And that's what we're really focusing on, how a baby's birth makes a dad become a dad for the first time and really changes that guy, changes that dad, as I know was the case with you and with me as well. So we're excited to be teaming up with Pampers for that. Now, Art, what's one thing that changed about you once you became a dad?
My hairline.
Immediately?
Started getting there. No, in all seriousness, I just started to see the world differently. Like, I just wanted to make sure, when my first daughter was born, I have two daughters. I mean, people who listen to the show, you probably already know, but I have two daughters in case this is the first time you're listening. And when she was born 8 years ago, I was just completely surprised and shocked about all the feelings I had. But then, I just wanted to make sure that I was doing the best I can to bring her up in a world that she could feel safe, secure, but also a bit challenged at certain things and all that. I was thinking at all these things about her future self, but then also how I can take care of her, obviously, as a baby, but made me mentally aware that I need to focus on a lot of things for her and also myself and my wife. So just being more aware, I guess. What about you?
Absolutely. No, that's a great point. Same as you, and I would really put the focus too on unconditional love. Now, of course, I had that for my family before that, and also for my wife Lucy before that as well. But there's something about when that baby arrives, you go from being someone that's, and maybe not everyone's this case, but I know I was fully focused on career and my marriage as well and all that. But once a baby's born, it's all about that kid, and everything you do from the get-go is all about, helping them in every which way, as you know, too.
Yeah. I mean, here, case in point, man, before we had our first daughter, I'd always be opening the door for my wife, Jess. Anytime we go anywhere, even past the courting phase and after we got married, I'd still open the door for her. But when we had that baby, man, first door opens up is to put, Lily in the car seat, make sure she's secure. And then I get into the car. And at one point, Jess was like, "It's very cute to see you take care of Lily, but what happened about opening the door for me?"
Oh, that's hilarious.
So, yeah, but I got back to it. I still opened the door for her, but it was just kind of funny.
For sure. What I love about what Pampers is doing, and we're excited to be teaming up with them on this, is it's really bringing us back to that moment. Because, the years pass, so I've been a dad for 6+ years. I have 3 amazing kids now. But we're really refocusing on that moment and all the influencers that we're working with on this campaign. This is a pretty big campaign. We have 40 different guys that are going to be writing posts on their site about how fatherhood changed them. And I just love that Pampers has brought us back to that moment. Like on our site, Patrick Quinn is putting up a post up this week, and his was all about, his daughter was born prematurely and how that changed him immediately. And then personally for myself, and I know I've said this on the show many a times, but my daughter had open heart surgery when she was 3 days old. So we went from, we tried to be strong as parents, but I was made stronger by seeing the strength and the courage that my daughter had. So she actually made me into a stronger person. So that's just one of the many changes, and everyone has their story. But I just think it's awesome that Pampers is helping us focus on that this Father's Day.
When you were kind of telling me about the campaign we're going to be doing with Pampers, I loved it, and it kind of obviously made me think about the different moments for when Lily and Jordan were born and everything I was thinking about. And it's everybody, of course, knows Pampers, a great thing for, baby products, everything. And of course, we used Pampers in our household when our kids were in diapers. And of course, you needed the baby wipes and all that stuff. So I love it, man.
Absolutely. And of course, everyone can go to pampers.com for more info about all the Pampers products. You got the diapers, you got the wipes, you got all that amazing stuff that every baby needs. They also have a Pampers Rewards program, so you can check that out.
That is
did you do that?
Yeah, it's a lifesaver, man. You just, especially with the diapers and the wipes and all that stuff, you got some coupons. It really helps. I remember just like, you learn from your parents. My mom would always have like this big thing of coupons before she went shopping. And then for me, it's like when I got up the Pampers Rewards program, I was getting coupons. I'm like, man, my mom was onto something here. Coupons actually make the bill go down, and it helps out. Every little bit helps as a parent, as you know that, so it's always a good thing.
Art always has coupons at the supermarket and always pays with a check, too. So people behind him love him.
And I don't ask them to go through that little scanner. I actually want to write it out. I use papyrus, which is weird. They still have checks that way, but yeah.
That's amazing. And a couple other cool things, and we'll get to the interview with Jerry Rice, so excited in just a second, but a couple other things we have coming up this week with Pampers. We have a big Twitter party, which is come up on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, so definitely check that out, and you can win up to $500 in gift cards, and then Pampers gear as well. And then on Thursday, we have a Facebook contest where everyone's going to be sharing their Thanks Baby, #ThanksBaby stories. And the winner of that is also going to get a $250 Visa card and some Pampers gear. So all that exciting stuff. Now it's time, Art, to hear from Jerry Rice. And
I know you want to say it. Where else is he known for?
Jerry, of course, after his NFL playing days, spent a lot of time on the dance floor with Dancing with the Stars, a show that I used to work for. And I guess I still do sometimes, every now and then. And I was there that season. I was there. That's why I like to talk about that. I think that was season 2 of the show.
Yeah.
And more impressive than any Super Bowl victory. Not at all. Anyway, I usually intro the guests, but I want to let you do it because I know this guy is one of your all-time, favorite players, athletes, dads. So take it away.
Thanks, man. Yeah, being a 49ers fan, talking to the GOAT, the greatest receiver of all time, was just a real trip for me. And yeah, I guess an early Father's Day present. Not only did we talk about football, and for people that know his training regimen, we talked about the hill that Roger Craig, teammate of the 49ers, introduced him to, but then also how he carried that torch a little bit further. Talked about sneakers because he had some limited edition Nikes that I had to talk to him about. And, of course, fatherhood. A lot of great advice and also memories that he shared when his kids were younger, because obviously they're grown up now. But, oh, man, it was an honor. Such a cool guy. We talked for about like a half hour. So even though he called me early, he made sure, I guess he wanted to make sure that he had enough time to talk with me for everything. So I appreciate that, Mr. Jerry Rice. So everybody, I hope you enjoy the interview as much as I did. And here we go. Hey everybody, it's Art Eddie, and on the line, I'm very happy to have the greatest wide receiver of all time, Jerry Rice. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me, Jerry. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Big fan of yours. I'm a Niner fan, so it's such an honor to talk to you. I got to say, in sports, and you know this because I know that you're very involved in sports, not just football, but just talking about it on social media, there's always that debate about who is that great athlete in that position. The only position that people never question or debate is wide receiver, because you're the GOAT, you're the greatest of all time. By far, you're considered, like I said, to be the best for good reason with your work ethic and the minute records you still hold in the NFL. When you started your career back in 1985 with the Niners, did you think you would have this type of career?
No, to be honest with you, because I came from a very small school, and the San Francisco 49ers, they had just won the Super Bowl, and they beat Miami. And I remember Joe Montana, Dan Marino, I remember that game being played at Stanford University, and I said, oh, my God, I'm going to the Super Bowl champs. You know, like, where will I fit in? You know, Joe Montana, Ronnie Lott, Roger Craig, all of these great players. And I was a little intimidated at first when I came in because they had so many great legends. Then I said, well, look, everything that I had done throughout, you know, when I played football in high school, collegiate-wise, I worked. That's all I did. I just worked harder than everyone else, and I just brought that to the San Francisco 49ers. It was very successful for me, and I think it put me on a whole different map because all of a sudden you got this young guy coming in, and he's catching a 5-yard slant, and he's going 95 yards. It became contagious. Then all the players started doing the same thing. Even if the ball was not thrown their way, you had guys downfield in position where they could make the block to, get their teammate into the end zone. So it was all about my work ethic and just my practice habits, and I think I was able to excel. And I had so many great football players around me. Everything just took off, and I just have to pinch myself because I can't believe, what happened, man. And I was looking at some of the old Super Bowls last night that was on the NFL Network. And I said, oh, my God, I cannot believe I made that catch. It is so weird when you see yourself on television. And this is something that you have done over and over again, but you put yourself right back into those emotions, what it felt like to make that final drive on Super Bowl XXIII when everything was on the line. Super Bowl XXIV, the way Montana came out 55-10. Super Bowl XXIX, Steve Young getting that monkey off his back where he threw for about 6 touchdowns, and we won that game 49-something. It was just, you go back and you get into those situations, and it's like you're living it all over again. And you say to yourself, like, man, I wish I could get back on the football field and play again. Start my career all over again. But, I just give all the credit to my teammates and just, going out there working hard and never wanting to let anyone down, including the fans here in San Francisco, my parents back home, everybody that supported me in Mississippi. And I think that just drove me to not get complacent and just continue to work hard.
Yeah, you let nobody down. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
You mentioned Joe Montana, Steve Young. A lot of franchises would love to have that progression of or succession of quarterbacks. You played for both, and I know that you felt blessed having those guys lead the offense. But on the flip side, I'm guessing Joe and Steve were very thankful to have you as the wide receiver. For you, what was it like to play with both of those guys?
I joke around with those guys all the time. When I'm going around, I'm doing a lot of talks, and everybody said, who's better? Is it Joe or is it Steve? And I always try to avoid that one. I joke around about, I said, well, I put both those guys into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But you to my 2 guys that came to work every day, total professionals. Joe, he was not known to have the strongest arm, but Joe, he was one of those guys that was going to drop back. And if it was a 3-step drop, 5-step drop, the ball was going to be out of his hands. I'm downfield and I'm running my route, and the ball is already in the air. So it's almost like you're doing a dance. You're doing a dance. And repetition-wise, you have done this over and over. Now the fans, you sitting there in the stands and you seeing this like, what is happening here? Now, how can this time out the way it did? But, the West Coast offense is all about timing.
Yeah.
And so the ball was always out of Joe's hands. Steve, when he first came in and took over, he was more of a running quarterback. Then he had a different spin on the ball because he was a lefty. So I had to adjust to that. But Steve, he wanted to become more of a pocket passer, and we were able to go on and put up some outstanding numbers. But I think these guys, because they were such professionals, and it starts during practice. We had done all of those incredible plays and we had built that chemistry, now we were able to take it to the field where the fans, can enjoy it. They can see things happening that was incredible. And that they would leave the stadium, go home, and they would talk about. Like, Can you believe Jerry was not even out of his route. The ball was halfway in the air, and all of a sudden he came out of his route, and he caught the ball. Now that gives me the opportunity where I could do something with the football.
Yeah.
Now I can be a creative football player, try to, maybe break a couple tackles or something like that and go the distance. So it was all about preparation, but, just two great guys that loved the game of football, and they were great leaders on the football field and off the football field.
Nice, man. Yeah, I love the breakdown. Two more questions before we get into fatherhood, and you have a bevy of them. It's almost like trying to pick who's your favorite child or whatever. But for you, with all the accolades and the awards, does one stand out over the others or no?
Oh, my God. Now, you know what the funny thing is? No, not at all.
Okay.
I think it was just that I got a chance to really touch so many people and to lift them up on that given day, or just have them watch the football game and run alongside the television if I'm going for a long touchdown. All the records, I don't take them for granted, but I never played for just the records. I played because I love the game of football.
Yeah.
And I think whoever, if you know me, you could see it on the football field. The way I love the game, the way I played the game. Like I stated, I give all the credit to my teammates, but, there's not one that just stands out in particular. I just, I think playing on the big stage, the Super Bowls, Super Bowl 23, 24, 29, then I went with the Raiders, but we ended up losing that one. It's just that I loved it from day one. I still love it now. I wish I could go back and start all over again and play this game that I really love.
It's funny you say that. My next question is, when you were playing, it was tough to go in the middle because defenders, safeties, obviously you played with Ronnie a lot. You saw the way he would tackle opposing wide receivers and running backs and tight ends, what have you. Now we all know it's more of an offensive game. They're trying to, make it safer. I get that. Don't you think it would be a little bit easier now playing?
Oh my God. Yeah, because when I went across the middle, it was like you were like fair game.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys could do anything they wanted to you when you were across the middle. So you had to know that the linebackers, had to know that the safeties, that they were going to try to take you out. And the game is, I feel like the game is so much safer now. They're protecting receivers. The ball is in the air more. That's why I wish I could come back and play now. But, it was incredible. And I wouldn't go back and change anything, man. And being able to, play it for such a long time, knowing that the opponent, during my time, they pretty much, they game plan to not let me be successful in the football field.
Yeah.
to do everything possible to stop me from making big plays, and still, because of my preparation and because of my teammates and the way we practice, I was able to go out and do some outstanding things on the football field.
That you did, sir. That you did. And here at Life of Dad, we love to get everybody's take on fatherhood. So for you, what are some of the core values? I know your kids are grown up now, but you never stopped being a parent, obviously. But for you, when they were growing up and to this day now, what kind of core values do you look to instill into them?
I think just work hard, and there's no shortcuts, and just love what you do. And those were some of the things that I valued, and I still do. And even though my football career is over now, I still apply that to all my endeavors.
Yeah.
Whatever I do, I give 100%, and you're going to get the best out of me. And I'm not going to try to be someone else. I'm just going to be myself. And I think my parents, they instilled that in me, about hard work and not letting any obstacles or anything like that stand in your way. To keep pushing forward and always just give 100%.
Yeah, I think you can definitely lead by example. You can just show them the videos of your preseason training going up the hill. I know that Roger Craig first had that, but then you approved on that. So if if your kids ever question that,
I'm gonna tell you, when Roger first introduced me to that hill, I was like, man, I ain't never felt something so painful. Last 800 meters straight uphill, and it would make you want to quit. It would make you want to throw up.
Yeah.
And I remember when I did it, and I got to the top of the hill, and those guys, they were doing that like 3 times a week. So after I ran it the first time, I was like, my God, I took a little bit of a break. I said, you know what? I have to go back and I have to conquer that hill. You got to be able to tolerate certain pain during a football game. Don't say in the fourth quarter and you're extremely tired.
Yeah.
And you feel like there is nothing else that you have inside of you to make that play. You got to be able to dig down deep and still muster up something to make that play, because your teammates are relying on you, your fans are relying on you, and you owe that to yourself. So I went back and I conquered that hill so many times. Then I took over the hill, from Roger and with the off-season training and all that, and just took my game to a whole different level.
I love that story. Every time I see behind the scenes or a documentary on you guys, that hill, that always just, pumps me up and try and work out harder. So thanks for that. 2 more questions before we get to the Life of Dad Quick 5. What was some of the first few thoughts when you found out you're going to be a dad for the first time?
Oh my God. I think you're excited when you're going to be a dad for the first time. I think it's one of those where you bring in, someone into this world, and this is part of you, and you just excited about, taking care of that person and raising that person the right way, instilling in that person, what your parents instilled in you. Mm-hmm. And it's scary though, because you know how cruel this world can be.
Yeah.
So I was a little skeptical about that, and some of the obstacles that they would face, throughout their life and all of that. But that's just part of living, and you learn from mistakes and you grow. But I got great kids. They work hard, and it's still, Dad can give them that Mississippi look, and they know they better get their act together. That's just something that we have down south.
Love it.
So they know, but I got great kids and they work hard. So I was very, very excited, about bringing my first one in, and my second one, and my third one. But I feel like it's a joy.
Nice, man. Thanks for that. One last question before the Life of Dad Quick 5. A lot of new parents, especially dads, listen to this podcast. What is one, and I know there's a lot of things, but what is one piece of advice you'd give to new parents out there?
You have to work together as a team. The team concept, works in so many areas. And, in football, it was one of those things. If you didn't work together as a team, there's no way you could reach that ultimate goal. I think it's the same thing, when you're parents. And just enjoy your kids while they're young, because they grow up real fast. Yeah. Then all of a sudden you're looking at pictures and you're saying, oh my God, what happened? what happened to the time? Yeah. When they become teenagers and adults and stuff like that, and so you have to enjoy, those terrible 4s and terrible 2s, all of that stuff, and knowing that they're going to do something special in life. So you just have to enjoy those times, very precious, because they do grow up, and they grow up fast.
Well said, sir. Well said. Now I got the Life of Dad Quick 5. Do you guys have a favorite family movie? It could be back in the day when they were young, or now. Is there something that you guys always like to watch?
Favorite? Well, a favorite movie for me today? No, because we haven't watched the movie in a while. But if I had to say something like, oh my God, like around Christmas or something like that, The Grinch that stole Christmas.
Okay. Nice. That's a classic.
Something. We'll sit around and watch stuff like that. Or now, favorite movie for me, and this is a little bit different because Gladiator, like Russell Crowe, The Revenant, like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that. But as a family, I'm thinking probably, Christmas movie, The Grinch that stole Christmas.
Very cool. Of course, people know that you were on Dancing with the Stars, so you got the moves and all that. Maybe not now, but back in the day, was there a favorite family song you guys would like to dance to as a family?
Prince, like Purple Rain, stuff like that, and Janet Jackson, Whitney Houston.
All good stuff.
But it's funny because my kids, they're like, they can't believe that I still like hip hop, rap music, and all that stuff. So, like some Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, all of that stuff. The music, it comes on, and I'll start dancing. They'd be like, "Dad, I can't do it. Dad, what are you doing?" But yeah, it's funny because Too Short.
Too Short, okay.
Too Short. Whenever they start playing that song, I started dancing. My kids, they always get on me about that. but they all, get involved too. So it's like it's a family thing, and they know their dad still got rhythm and all of that, and then I can still get down with the kids.
Nice.
So yeah, we have fun. But my kids know that I love music, and there are certain artists that I really like.
Nice, man. Love that. Describe the perfect family vacation. Did you have one, or what would it be in your mind?
We used to go to Hawaii a lot. It was for the Pro Bowl, but my kids, they look forward to that. That was something that was real special. They get a chance to just relax and be around other players and other kids and all that. So that was real special. It's a little bit different now because, I just feel like we have been isolated so much over in Hawaii. Before we was like downtown, Waikiki, where everything was happening, and all the fans, they had access to you. But now everything else it's a little bit more isolated.
Gotcha. Last two are football related, and again, this is probably hard to pick. But out of the 3 Super Bowls that you won, do you have a favorite one?
Well, the first one, I really didn't know what was going to happen, and I didn't know how I was going to react. The second one, I had a better feel for what was going to happen. In the third one, it's almost like you don't get comfortable. You don't feel like it's a sure win. There's some nerves going on because you think about the scenario of not winning it. But if I had to pick one, probably with Super Bowl XXIII on that final drive.
Nice.
How everything came down to that one possession. To be able to move that ball all the way downfield and not make a mistake and win the Super Bowl the way we did. And when I was watching that last night, I was like sitting there, and I played in that game, but I could feel with the fans what they were going through. Because I'm sitting there and I'm saying, my God, I remember that play. That was a play I made, a one-handed catch. That was a play that I caught over the middle, and Joe released the ball at the proper time, and he got hit. The ball is in the air. Everything slowed down for a second. I caught the ball over the middle. I was able to run out of some tackles and almost, just break it all the way to the end zone. But to be able to do that under that type of pressure on that final drive, when everything is on the line, because it's one mistake, ball game is over, and you lose the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And that's just something I'll never forget.
That was such a great Super Bowl for 49ers fans like myself. So
Yeah, it was just unreal, man. And I had, like I said, I was watching it, and it just brought back a lot of emotions, and because we play the game because we love the game. We want to win Super Bowls. We want to win games. We want to do all of those things. But then once you get on that stage and you able to go out and really achieve what you have been working so hard on, and it's like all the emotions, everything comes into play. All the hard work that you put in. And we were able to win that Super Bowl and go on to win some other Super Bowls too. And it's just something I can't put a number on.
Yeah.
It's an experience that I'll never forget. And I was very fortunate where I was able to also touch so many lives.
Yes, sir. And last one, like with all your hard work, people listening to this obviously know the passion you have for the game. We saw it in your work ethic and on the field. And people said it was probably a no-brainer for you to get in the Hall of Fame. And you just being with your attitude and just being how you respect the game, you probably like, oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. But when you got the call that you were getting inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, what was the first thing that popped into your mind?
The first thing is I cried like a baby. I really did because, it was the same scenario when people, when I was playing collegiate football. They said, you're going to get drafted. You're going to get drafted. You're going to play professional football. I never thought I would get that dream.
Yeah.
I never thought I would get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. People, they were saying that. I don't take anything for granted, but then I was like, you know what? This is just unreal. To play professional football, then to have your peers to recognize you and put you into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I mean, this is a very elite group of guys. I think that was the cap. That was like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
That was like the final, that was the final straw. Because once you get into that group and the players that made football what it is today, to be around those legends, then it's weird because I was like, okay, I have gone through this so many times. Okay, 49ers winning the Super Bowl. Okay, where would I fit in? Okay, Pro Football Hall of Fame. All of these legends. Where do I fit in? But it's a very, it's a very elite honor, and I was very fortunate to get in. And like I said, it was the icing on the cake, and it's just something I'll never forget.
Nice, man. Thank you so much for sharing that and just talking about football and fatherhood. I do got to say, I had to go and order in England your the Nike Special Edition cross trainers, the one with the bricks on them, because I had to get them. Those things are sick, and I'm glad they honored you with that shoe.
Hey, thanks a lot, man.
All right, people, make sure you go to jerryricefootball.com. Follow him on Twitter at Jerry Rice. And again, continued success with everything you're doing. Again, thank you for sharing your thoughts on fatherhood and football.
Okay, take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Art, that is awesome. I'm so glad you got to talk to your hero, one of the legends in your mind in the 49ers world and really NFL history. All right, you got to tell me two coolest things that happened during that conversation for you.
The fact that he would make a joke or I'd make a joke, we would both laugh together. I'm like, all right, I'm making one of my sports heroes laugh and crack up. That's fantastic. And then two, just to see that we were talking about the different games and like which Super Bowl was his favorite or, what does he remember most out of all the different accolades and awards. But he said that he was talking about watching one of the Super Bowls on the NFL Network. And it was like, cool. Like he actually sits down and like, oh yeah. I mean, can you imagine if like you were Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, Tom Brady, and you're kind of like flipping through the channels and you're like, hey, I played in that. That's me. And like you kind of watch and you break it down and like just seeing that and seeing all of the commentators and everybody talking about that game and you experienced it from playing the game and then also too now being able to relive it. I thought it was cool that he was open like, yeah, I watched my game. And if you win a Super Bowl, why wouldn't you not want to watch your game, right?
That's fantastic. Dude, I'm so happy for you. Jerry, thank you so much for joining the show. And I have to give another shout out to Pampers for sponsoring this show and this week here at Life of Dad as we have the cool Thanks Baby campaign going on. So everybody go on Twitter, go on Facebook, use hashtag Thanks Baby and share your little story of why you're thankful for what your baby did and how it changed you and made you a better dad. Art, happy Father's Day, man.
Happy Father's Day to you and all the fathers listening there. Thanks for being good role models to all your kids.
Of course. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you next week on the Life of Dad show.
Thanks so much for listening to the Life of Dad show. You know where to find us, lifeofdad.com, and on Twitter and Facebook.
Cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and a radio. Light to see the sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, no mother's love.